All right.
Let's go, guys. Today is a deep dive. We're here with our friend and our expert, Jade. And we discuss all things freediving, which is fucking really cool because she's
sick.
an expert in her field.
It's fucking sick.
Or expert
This
in
episode's
her
fucking sick.
pool, not a field.
Fucking heavy.
Fucking heavy, lad.
Fucking heavy.
Big shout out to Ron Evans Painting, who sponsored the footy tipping comp
thanks,
all
mate.
year. It is concluded. And Branch's cousin,
Yeah, Jimmy.
James Callahan, has won the $100. So you can give a shout out
That's
to
the
Ron Evans.
Scottish side in me.
Proper
Did I do a
Scottish.
Scottish? Did I do Scottish?
Scottish.
I don't know if I did Scottish.
The second one is also
Sorry,
Jamie Goddard. So,
Goddard.
yep, $50. So congratulations. Jimmy won with 153, Jimmy the Eagle username. And then Jamie Goddard, one of my mates is DJ.
Fuck yeah.
$50 for second.
Sorry, I only did the first 2 rounds and I gave up.
Yep.
I forgot.
Yeah, I fucked up as well.
Oh, yeah.
But next year, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Big shout out to Raunchy.
Yes, Raunchy Brewing Co. The beer that actually tastes good.
Yeah.
I actually like this beer.
It's not available from where I should say we got BWS from Ron because that's Australia-wide. But you can't get Raunchy from BWS.
Oh, really?
Where can you get it from, Brachy?
Celebrations, I think. Or there is a link in our bio where you can actually directly get it from Raunchy.
Actually.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Did I say actually?
Actually.
Like 5 times.
It's actually good.
It's actually good. It's good. I do like the beer. Get it in you. Blah, blah, blah.
Link in bio.
No, they got some good ones. They got a stout as well. I love the stout. Yeah, it's good.
Cool. I was with Master on the weekend. He reckons stout is the only drink to drink when you're on the piss.
Really?
Yeah, they literally went to the bowler and got some Guinness.
Guinness, man.
I told him about Sir Henry's.
Oh, mate, the Guinness, and just quietly, I shouldn't talk about another beer, but Guinness over in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, magnificent.
But our major sponsor is behind Jade. We have alltradescover.com.au.
You don't have to duck. alltradescover.com.au.
If you're a freediver and you want to insure your monofin when you buy it,
Great
yeah,
idea.
you can use these guys.
That would be a form of trade, wouldn't it?
If you were teaching people and you wanted to cover yourself, or even at your work, if you want to cover public liability, tools,
anything,
equipment,
damage if you're Delby because you'll probably hurt yourself or
Correct.
fuck something up.
or
Either
something.
way.
Yeah, I fucking have no spatial awareness with my limbs. I don't know what to do with my hands.
spatial awareness today. Nearly knocked the TV off.
That's right. Don't fuck around, TV. But alltradescover.com.au. It's actually working.
Yes.
Because
they're getting clients.
Yeah.
It works.
So, and finally, Branchy is hosting True Grit down south.
Oh, yes. True Grit. True Grit is it's about 9 days now.
Yep.
9 days. 14th and 15th of October down at Lingalonga Estate. How long should I stay down there, Delby?
Linger long as you want, but so
classic. It's at the Southampton sort of area. Southampton. Not Hampton. Ampton.
I don't even know what that is.
Southampton.
well, 10% off using the code TrueYarns, TrueYarns.
Thank you for spelling that. That is it's a military-inspired sort of obstacle course, and you
can murder some Afghanis that are unarmed and kick them down a hill with one leg.
and you get a 10% discount. But we were joined.
Ben Roberts-Smith, I think. Anyway, we're joined by Jade. And Jade, what did we talk about?
Freediving.
Fuck yeah. Nailed it.
Getting real deep.
What parts? Hey, what parts did we do? We did.
Yeah, there's
What did we cover at the start?
the breath work, I
Yep.
guess.
Yeah.
Physiological side of it, mental side of it.
How'd you got into it?
Deepest breath, how I got into it.
Yep. Some dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fuck
competition.
Pros and cons.
Yeah. So if you're a spear fisherman, it's probably a good potty for you.
Yeah.
And if you're an asthmatic, this is a great one.
If you just like challenges and things that are quite difficult.
If you got long COVID.
Yeah. If you don't know what freediving is, half of my clients thought I was jumping from planes and cliffs. And they're like, what you do is crazy. I'm like, you literally thought I was jumping from planes. How do you think this is crazy?
I do
really
recommend if you haven't, definitely watch The Deepest Breath because that might give you a bit more in-depth idea of what we're talking about. But if not, watch it after because Delby talks about it from a position of not
and any
seeing
questions, I'm always happy to answer about freediving.
Yes, lots of innuendo. And Jade will be back because she is also an occupational therapist, doing a special program on backs and injuries and all the good stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Let's get hard.
Let's get hard.
Let's get deep.
More innuendo.
Let's get deep and hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host,
Daniel Delby.
And Cameron Brand.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
Fuck yeah. Welcome.
Welcome.
Do you know what I reckon is a good way to start this off before we get into your expertise? Is how we all met. Because we all met randomly.
And around the same time.
Yeah, separately.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, full disclosure. I do not remember who you were the second time.
I don't remember how we met.
I remember how we met.
How did we meet?
We were beer pong partners at Beck's 30th.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we were good. No, I was
You're
good.
dominated.
She's hell competitive.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. I know. That's why I kept on playing with her. We won everything. But that's why I don't remember who you are the second time. Because fuck.
Yeah, right.
It was like 6 months later.
So you were her beer pong partner all night.
All night.
And then you didn't recognise her again.
No, like 6 months later or something.
Still.
A few months
I've
later.
just remembered that now.
Yeah. So it was like a few months later. We were like, I was at the beach.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey. And I was like, fuck.
I don't recognise you without balls in your hand.
I had to go on to Insta and I was like, fuck. I feel like it was Jade. And I was like looking and yeah.
And then I randomly, you popped up eating an Easter egg on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking mad. Where was it or what was it or something?
An Easter egg.
Yeah,
but
no,
it was
a hell sick one.
Yeah.
And then I saw that you're a physio, so I was like, are you any good at
occupational therapist?
Well, sorry, occupation. Actually, and then I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck is an occupational therapist? Are you good at backs? And you've done your
I do my backs.
you did PhD in backs?
Just my thesis.
Yeah. But we're going to save that for another podcast.
Yeah.
But there's heaps of people that keep messaging me for back advice, and I've been sending them to you.
Yeah, well, we can.
So, like my dad.
Your dad, yeah. She said your dad went there yesterday.
Yeah, a bunch of people.
What the fuck is this bullshit? You got to fucking fix my
3
back,
sessions, why am I not fixed?
So we'll keep that for another pod. But then, then came and seen you. And the first time we met, I don't remember because you said you met me at my food show.
I think I watched.
Did I meet you or just watch?
Shows, yeah.
I like to watch.
Yeah, I just watched.
I think she's just cleverly stalked her way into our
the
life
hard
so
yards.
she
To
can
get
get
here.
into the hard yards.
Yeah.
Let's see what's happening.
Yeah.
No one wants to go with me when we're playing beer pong. That's
Yeah.
a lie. No one wants to. I throw left-handed. I'm the.
I'm
you know
left-handed
cocky.
too.
You know that. Have you seen that the skit where it's like the different levels of people in beer pong?
No.
And they have like the cocky douchebag.
Yeah.
I'm the cocky douchebag.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't put it past her. She's the cocky douchebag female version.
Well, it
Everywhere
works.
she loses.
Well, it works.
Yeah. But you have been doing some pretty cool stuff, and you have a hobby that's turning into not really a hobby anymore. So how's OnlyFans going? So it is. Well, you can tell us what
Imposter
it is.
syndrome.
It's called.
Yes.
It's called what?
Free diving.
Free diving.
Yeah.
Not freestyle diving.
No.
That's when I raffle and swim. So free diving. What is free diving? Because you see the boys free dive with a spear, but you do it like
Line diving.
Line diving.
Yeah. So you pretty much just dive as deep as you can.
Into
different
lines.
disciplines.
Gonna do that Saturday night, baby.
So it is a bit different. It's you're literally about the depth and not the fish, not catching things.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So it's the depth that matters.
Where does that begin? Like, why? Like, did you like?
Did someone hold you underwater?
Did you like snorkeling and diving? I guess, or
Yeah. So it started off. I was scuba diving in Gili Trawangan. So the plan was
horror spot. Yeah.
Hard life there.
Yeah.
And the plan was to open up a clinic there and teach French students scuba diving, and that was how I was going to get my KTAS and move over there.
What's KTAS?
KTAS is like your visa.
Bali visa?
Yeah, Bali visa. So that was the plan initially. And then COVID happened, so everyone cleared out, and a few of the free divers there, they were like, you should give it a go. Like, I think you'll like it. And I was like, Nah, I enjoy breathing underwater. Yeah. I don't want to give this a go. But kind of got talked into it.
Yeah.
And they said, you've got a swimming background, you're comfortable in the water, you love the ocean.
Yeah.
So I did my Wave 1 course, which gets you to 20 meters. And just even that in itself, like you learn so much. You do a breath hold at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then
at the beginning of the course?
The beginning of the course, the very first day, you just like hold your breath for as long as you can. And then they teach you what's happening, like the physiological stuff.
Okay.
And then you do a breath hold again at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think I increased by 1.5 minutes just from learning what happens, like the response to the.
Jeez, I need to do that for
hold.
sex. But you said you had a swimming background. Weren't you like an Australian state swimmer? What did you do?
Yeah, national swimmer.
National swimmer.
I was wondering how you and Blair knew each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair
so
enough.
what were you ranked?
In what?
You've already told me this off air, but with swimming. Were you like champion or third or second?
No, I quit when I was like 16, but I don't know, like second in the state.
Yeah,
wow.
But 16 though.
And you're only little as well. Aren't you supposed to be big and long for a swimmer?
Yeah. Yes,
but
you
16
are.
isn't 16 like the
peak?
like it's like what was Thorpe when he won all this shit, like 16, 17? Like,
Yeah.
So
And
I guess
why did you
quit?
stop
You were
swimming?
probably retired through old age, did you?
I did. I had a sore back. No, that's pretty much. Oh, what happened? Oh, I think at one of the nationals, and I false started in my main event, my 100 butterfly, and I was like, yeah, that's me done. Hey, see you later. Go out with a bang.
Just false
Or a
start. You're like,
DQ,
I'm
yeah.
done. Fuck, that's gold.
Yeah, right.
My heart wasn't really in swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were used to being able to swim. You were used to like holding your breath for wall touches.
So for 15 meters. Like
Yeah,
you can
but still.
streamline.
Yeah.
I
15
can't hold my
meters.
breath for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, you can.
I can't.
You can.
100% you can. It's not like that. It's not.
Trust.
All right, we'll see when I'm underwater. But
underwater. Yeah, you panic a bit.
underwater.
Yeah.
I scuba dived for the first time in Cairns at the Great Barrier Reef. I did the real introductory course. The first bit, like your full anxiety attack comes over because you're in cold water. But after a while, when you slow your breathing, it's fucking way better than snorkeling.
Wait, you're asleep breathing? Say that again.
When you slow down your breathing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't want to talk about me. We're talking about you today. The course, you hold your breath for the first time. Do you remember how long it was?
I think it was like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes.
To start with?
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
No. That's
what was your first breath hold at the start of the day?
that was my first breath hold.
Fucking hell.
And then by the end of it, so just from learning,
Yeah.
I think it went to 3 minutes.
Okay, so explain some techniques. Like, how does it work? How do people learn to hold their breath longer?
Well, it's adaptation. So just like obviously the more you practice, the more you kind of change your dive response and your urge to breathe and push that out.
Okay.
The longer you can hold your breath. So initially when you take your final breath, you go into a meditative state first. So obviously when you first do your breath hold, we just kind of like did it.
Yeah.
But you learn how to relax, like get into your meditative state. You do your breath, and then there'll be a point where you hit sort of like a contraction or that urge to breathe. And you're like, hey, I've got to actually breathe now.
We call that the George Floyd.
There we go. And then just learning instead of, thinking, okay, I should breathe because my body's telling me I should.
Yeah.
It's like, no. That's just like, that's your mind playing games. Like you've got still like 70% left.
What the
that
fuck?
you can hold your breath
What
for.
in your lungs that you can use?
It's not even your lungs. It's just like, a little contraction, and that's that opens up like the capillaries and stuff. So you've got a bit of a blood shift.
That's
and then you
pretty
can,
sick.
you can hold it a lot longer than what you think.
What
but
the
obviously we
hell?
don't know that going into it. You're like, oh, I need to breathe. I'll breathe.
Yeah.
Instead, you're like, okay, I've still got like 2 minutes, 2
What
minutes
the
30.
hell?
And
That's incredible.
But does learning to do that overcome that panic response where you're like, I need to breathe now, and then you
for
just
sure, yeah.
do a contraction, and then do you actually feel the oxygen?
No.
You just
you
feel
get more
like
contractions. So you might start like I've pushed. I think I initially got my contractions at like 1 minute 17, and now they come at like 250. So
Yeah.
you push it out from practice and learning and stuff, and then you just kind of embrace the contractions. And some people contract a lot, like I don't. Mine are really tiny little like flickers in my throat.
Yeah.
But you see some people doing breath holds and they're like full convulsing,
Yeah.
and they're okay because
That's so weird.
they're
I don't
alright.
want to go too far ahead with all of this,
Yeah.
but like that's my biggest dive into, pardon the pun, into this was the deepest breath.
Yeah.
And that opening scene where she blacks out at the top and convulses, and it's like fucking dying almost on the surface. Freaked me out. Like that's
confronting.
Something that it sounds like, and I message you saying it actually sounds like something I'd love to try.
Yeah.
But also it sounds fucking terrifying as well when you see the best in the world blacking out at the top and some people die. How does that something you get into from the beginning, knowing it's a sport you could do that could kill you?
I don't think of it like that at all. Like, I know we're all so different as free divers. So for me, like, I feel like that's the one place where all the noise just stops, and it's like I don't think about, you know, what will happen if this goes wrong. Like, you know, think of something you love, like your daughter. When you go and pick her up from school, you're thinking, oh gosh, what happens if I like crash on my way to pick up from school, right?
Yeah.
You don't. You get there, you enjoy it, and that's sort of like exactly how I kind of think of it. Is like maybe initially I'm a little bit nervous if going into a competition, very different. But I'm so excited. It's like, you know, you don't think about blackouts, because as soon as you start thinking about blackouts and your heart rate changes and your you know, beats per minute go up even a few at a time, then your likelihood to blackout changes. So that's why freediving is such a mental and like it's, you know, majority mental. It's not so much like.
Right. So what's the science behind? First of all, like maybe let's go the science behind a breath hold. So you hold your breath and your body has oxygen in it that can still be utilized, right? So when you're untrained, you suck in as much air as you can. Where does it go? Just your lungs? Capillaries? Nose?
Lungs everywhere. Your whole body. Yeah.
And then your body is trying to extract oxygen and put back out carbon dioxide in your system.
Okay, so if we're talking about depth, right?
Yeah.
So you do your final breath. Some people pack as they breathe in. I'm not quite there yet, but you'll do your final breath. You fill up your lungs, so you think like belly first, and then your rib cage, intercostals, and then your chest, and then you hold it there. And then some people finish that breath and they go and suck more in and compress more air than what their lungs actually fit naturally. But you need the flexibility to do that.
Yeah.
So then you hold that, you equalize first, because you need to equalize your ears.
Yeah.
And then you start your dive. And because there's the most pressure change initially, you have to equalize quite often, quite frequent. And then as you get deeper, it's less and less. But they'll get to a point, so usually like deeper than 30 meters, where you don't have enough air to equalize your ears. You know, your mask, if you're wearing a mask, you don't have that air anymore. So at 15 meters, you have to do something called mouth fill. So it kind of sounds like this.
Really?
Yeah. And so what happens, so you might, if you kind of watch the deep divers go, you'll see something happen with their cheeks. They bring the air up from the lungs. So you squeeze the air up and you hold it here. So it's in the throat. And so what happens when you stress out, if you're thinking about blacking out, then because of that stress, you contract a little bit and you swallow that mouthfeel. You've got to turn around. That's a dive over. So you need to stay relaxed. So you do mouthfeel at 15 meters. Some people recharge a couple of times just so they can keep like getting as much air
and when you
as
say
possible.
mouthful, that's because that's the air that you now have to equalize your ears?
Yes, yeah, equalize your ears, yeah. And for me, because I still wear a mask at the moment, my mask as well. So that's the air that you use, because otherwise it's you've got so much pressure and it's so compressed that you've got nothing left. So then that's at 15 meters. And then you can keep recharging to about 30.
And that means keep bringing air up to your mouth?
Yeah, so you can like kind of, like little bits at a time, bring more up instead of taking like one big one. Some people do smaller ones, so it's just very dependent on the diver.
Yeah.
And then you've got free fall. So that's the next component. And that for me is at 28 meters. So it depends on like your buoyancy and how heavy you are and stuff as well. But that's when you stop kicking. And that's when you go into this, like you're flying. It's literally the closest thing to flying. You stop kicking and you just relax. And that's when
And you keep going down.
Yeah, you're sinking, and then you get faster and faster. It's literally
some people call that dying.
I was wondering how that happened, because when I was watching the doco and they just stop and it just keeps going. What's this? Is there a reason behind how that works?
Because they're negatively buoyant now. So if you're like 10 meters, you're just gonna, if you stop kicking, you're just gonna float up. Yeah. At like 12 meters, that's where I'm sort of neutrally buoyant, so I'll just like hang there and float. And then at 28 meters, I've got enough momentum to get down fast.
Okay. Let's break down some of those words for people that have never even heard about diving before. So let's break down equalise. What does equalise mean, and what does your body do with that?
And how do you do it? Because I was diving. I was in Europe in a 4 meter pool, and we were as blokes do, chucking 3 coins in the bottom of the pool if you can go get them. After 4 meters, and my ears were fucked.
Well, that's because that's the biggest pressure change. The hardest equalization point is like the 3-4 meter part that you're doing. You need the most pressure to get there.
So when we speak about pressure as well, maybe before we do equalising, the pressure, we've got one atmosphere because we're on top of land. Correct. Now, when you go into water, because of the amount of weight of water above you, it increases the pressure pushing on your body, correct?
Yeah.
And because our body is hollow, there's a low pressure inside and a high pressure outside. So the water's trying to force its way in. Yeah. And that's what puts the pressure on us that we need to pop our ears. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've done that very well, Delby.
That was perfect.
Jade, expand on that. You've actually nailed it.
The further,
science
I
teacher.
come across as dumb. And the further you go down, obviously, the more water that's above you and the more pressure that's getting pushed against you to squeeze that oxygen out of yourself.
Yeah.
It's trying to squeeze. Well, it's trying to make its way in, which is putting pressure out, right?
So, and then if that's the case, then why do you say the further you go down, the less you need to equalise?
Well, because you've got different pressure changes. So, so like say the first third of your dive, you've got like your lungs go from this straight away. To
People listening, it's a big balloon.
Big balloon to like a tennis ball.
Wow.
Quickly.
Yep.
And then there's not much change from say like 60 metres to 80 metres as opposed to like 10 metres to 20 metres.
That
So
makes
it's
sense.
a change for the equalisation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really exponential change. And then as you get further down, it's smaller and smaller.
So surely though that change, like even though you don't have to equalise lower, the pressure must be severely.
Yeah.
You feel the pressure on your body?
Yeah.
Personally, no.
Yeah.
I haven't yet, but people do. Like it's a crushing sensation. I did have, we'll talk about this later, but a point where I could feel something in my throat. It felt like I was gently being choked. Not in
Some
a nice
people
way.
like that.
Because what's your furthest dive? It's 62 metres?
60.
60.
That's so insane.
Yeah.
But
That's
But that's like I haven't hit that point yet where I'm like, okay, that's my PB. Like I haven't hit a point of feeling any pressure in my chest at any point.
Yeah.
I haven't struggled to equalise my mask. You know, they say you can't dive deeper than 40 metres with a mask. But I'm like,
how long?
Because the
how long are
mask
you into it?
pushes against your eyes, hey? And pops
and
your
you have a
eyes
mask
out.
squeeze and it's not pretty.
How long into it are you? How many years?
Well,
or how long into this process?
pretty much since my first 30 metre dive, 7 months.
Crazy.
So does old mate, what's her name? The record holder. What's her name?
Australian or world?
No, the world.
Alessia.
Alessia, yes. I follow her on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is old mate Alessia a little...
She's definitely worried because she's essentially like the Nick
puckering?
Dacos. She's like the Nick Dacos of the swimming world for those listening.
Yeah.
Because she's just done it and absolutely obliterating every fucking possible marker for somebody that's been doing it for 7 months. Correct? And I know you have imposter syndrome, but that's right, yeah?
So you're doing very well.
Yeah, well, I got told by someone actually. They said, it took me 8 years to get to 60 metres and it's taken you 8 weeks.
That's
and
insane.
I was like,
Maybe everyone has a purpose. So
wow.
With the pressure changes, when you equalise, is there air in your ears? Because when you go like that, you hold your nose and you push out. What are you actually doing?
Well, scuba divers use their diaphragm, so you use your abdominals, but you don't want to be doing that in free diving. So we use a different technique, and you grab your nose and you sort of move your Adam's apple, I suppose, and push it up. Yeah. So you're not doing anything down here. It's all just
fuck, there's
that.
a lot more to this
but
than just
oh,
diving down and
it's a
holding your breath.
hey?
But what is it actually doing?
Is
Is it pushing your head back open?
No, it's pushing your air out.
Of where? Of just out of...
Just this stuff that you've got here. It just
Because you feel it in your ears, right? Is that what your pressure is?
You've got pressure everywhere. You've got it.
Right.
You've got lungs. You've got the sinuses and stuff. You've got the mask. Anywhere where there's air.
Because I associate equalising with you're just popping your ears back out, like on a plane.
Yeah, on a plane. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're saying it's not just your ears. Everywhere equalises.
Yeah. So naturally, other places equalise. Yeah. But yeah, your ears are the biggest one.
And what is that sensation that we have in the ears? Is it air in the eardrum? Is it air in your brain hole? To quote Cam McLaren.
Yeah, in the ear.
In the inner ear.
Yeah. Wow. The inner ear. Yeah.
Can you push air through your ears? Or is that?
I can push air out of my eye.
Yeah. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
can
I
see
can do
people
that.
squirting milk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I can do the air out of the eye.
so you'll be great.
Is that how
with
you
your mask.
equalise?
I do. I do. And so I got told, Jade, you can't go deeper than 40 meters with a mask. And I was like, I did 50 with a mask. It's fine because when you want to equalize your mask, you have to open up one of your nostrils,
Yeah.
what other people do, whereas
Yeah.
I just open up my eyes. And it just equalized so literally, like you can probably hear it if I do it. I don't want to squirt
This will be
anything.
the
Don't want to squirt
That'll be a first. We got
from your eye to
eye.
to clarify.
Yeah.
To clarify.
Clarify.
But it's like,
Oh, wow. That's coming out your fucking...
Can you do that again, please? Oh my god!
That's out of her eyeball.
it was
Wow.
I don't know if I can do that.
yeah, so this is a big gaping hole. I didn't have tear ducts.
Excuse
when
me?
I-
In your eye.
to clarify.
Just to clarify. Just to clarify.
You didn't have tear ducts as a
Yeah,
kid?
as a kid.
What do you mean? And then they just
That's
grew
exactly
later.
what I mean. No, I had to have surgery
Where were they?
in my eyes. Believe it or
What?
not, my tear ducts.
So you're like, it's almost like you're genetically made for this.
Well,
Yes.
How did you discover that you could blow air out of your eye?
How does it people discover they can blow fucking
I
milk
don't
out
know.
of their eye?
Yeah, I
guess
mean, I
it's
haven't
just-
discovered the milk part. I'm sure I could if I tried, but I don't know. I think it was just free diving. Like oh no, that's how it happened. I realized to equalize, I had to close my eyes because if I didn't, I couldn't equalize my ears. So then when I did my wave 1 actually, or wave 2, the instructor was like, are you stressed every time you equalize? And I was like, no, I'm so chill. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, you close your eyes pretty hard. And I was like, oh, it's because I can't equalize my ears otherwise. And she was like, oh, okay. I've seen this, but not this bad before.
Wow.
So that's why I'm struggling with the nose clip concept
Yeah.
without the mask because I've got such a big hole in my right eye that it almost feels like if I'm not either closing my eyes quite tight or like pushing air
water
out,
in.
it feels like it like sucks up and it gives
Yeah,
me like
yeah,
a brain
yeah.
freeze. And I've
Yeah.
tried to explain that to people on like divers and stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, I've heard this before. And then they'll see it and they're like, oh.
Where
okay,
does the
this is
water go
different.
into? If it
My
goes...
hole.
Yeah, I but
Your
where
eye
then
hole.
into your
I don't
sinus
know.
or your ear
Well,
or like...
it feels like it goes into my brain.
Yeah,
but
right.
it would be in my sinus, yeah.
Have you ever done cocaine through your eye?
I have not. Delby.
So with that eye hole thing, does that mean that that means you always have to wear a mask?
No,
What?
I just have to.
Because if you open your eye underwater,
I just
isn't
won't
the
open
pressure
my
going to
eyes.
push?
Well, I've got to do my dive.
Well, how do you know where you're going? And how do you know how
Well, there's
to
a line.
Just open.
So
one
you're
eye.
holding the line.
No.
What? So you're just swimming down, hoping like I'm fucking.
But you're attached to the line.
You're attached to the line.
Oh, okay.
So you do your dives, you equalize, and then I'll have to just learn how to like close my eyes every now and then, open my eyes just to see where I am on the line, just to see and make sure it's still in front of me, and just be really damn good at free fall.
Yeah.
Because I did practice this once. I was like, I reckon I'll be all right. And it was the worst. It went from a good free fall with my mask because I could see where I was going to then I was like horizontal.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was behind me and I was upside down.
And
And the
you
person I
lose.
was with was like, that is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Yeah.
don't do that again.
So you get like, because you would be
Disorientated.
and lose where you
Yeah.
are and what's
That's
going
why
on.
you got the line, yeah.
And that's again, not to talk about someone else, but that's what happened to Alessia.
Yeah.
And Steve?
Yeah, Stephen. yeah.
Stephen? Yeah, the trainer. That's obviously a scary thing, but that's unattached. And
Yeah,
that was a
exactly.
crazy story. Maybe we can
Buddhist
talk
diving, they call that.
about yeah,
No
unattachment.
attachments.
We can talk about that a bit later. I don't know. Do you know her-ish personally? Sort of?
I had no idea who she was. She followed my OT page.
Hey.
Because she...
She heard
She's
rumors.
threatened.
Yeah, she had sciatic pain and she knew that I was treating one of the safety divers and she was like, oh, I want some exercises. No idea who she was.
You can.
And then, go on.
You can.
Just sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
What's the word I'm looking for? When you tamper,
Sabotage.
you can sabotage for your dives.
No.
Yeah.
And I had no idea who she was and I was like, oh yeah, got this message and I was away in IMED at the time. And I was sitting at dinner with a bunch of free divers and someone mentioned her name, Alessia. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got a message from her. Like, I got a follow from her. And they're like, what do you mean? You don't know who she is? Like, actually go home and stop this sport, because if you don't know who she is, there is something wrong.
She's the best. She's the best.
It'd be like not knowing Ron Barassi or like Chris Judd in the footy.
Yeah.
But with your negative buoyancy, before we move any further away, buoyant means, do you want to describe what that means? And positive and negative buoyancy and equal buoyancy?
Well, buoyancy.
Because some people don't know what buoyancy is.
Yeah, it's just pretty much your ability to like float and be neutral. So neutral is where you literally don't move and you're not going up or down.
Yeah.
Negatively buoyant is when you sink.
Yeah.
And positively buoyant is when you float up.
And why do you float? Because your pressure is less than the water, or you have air that's in your body that pushes you up?
Well, it's the air, it's the wetsuit. So you've got, obviously, wetsuits are buoyant. They're going to make you float. So if you've got like a 5 mil wetsuit, you're probably going to need more weight because you have to wear weight.
Why are wetsuits buoyant? Because they absorb water?
Because of the material that they're made of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So thicker wetsuits are more buoyant.
So buoyancy's got to do with density though as well, hey?
Yeah.
So does that...
So if
less
you're heavy,
dense.
so I'm quite like, I'm a sinker.
Yeah.
My legs are quite heavy, so I don't need much weight and I'm able to sink pretty quick. Whereas like, you know, one of my friends, I'll wear 1 kilo weight, sometimes half, and then I've got someone else wearing the same wetsuit as me, you know, a lot skinnier, a bit more petite, maybe not so much muscle, and she'll have to wear like 5 kilos.
So that's what I was going to ask, is like, you want to be heavy or do you want to be...
No, because you just wear weight to compensate.
In competition though?
No.
Wouldn't it be better to be naturally heavier because it's spread out rather than having a focused area of weight, or it doesn't matter?
I think that's the thing with freediving is doesn't really matter. Like it's probably the one sport where you've got literally muscle men and you've got tiny petite people like Alessia.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. It's more the flexibility of the diaphragm and the lungs and stuff.
Well, do you get in a certain shape before you go? Because I noticed in the last one you were fucking ripped. Not that you're not normally in good shape, but like you were ripped, shredded.
Not that you're not normally in good shape. I thought you said, but you're not normally in good shape. So
not that you're not normally in good shape, but you were like shredded. I remember you putting up some photos and videos.
That's just how naturally.
Do you have to work? Like, do you have to
like work out, like train?
Yeah. Do you have to put yourself in a certain condition, a certain weight? Do you have to get yourself to a certain level of fitness before you can do it, or is it just like I am what I am? This is how I'm going to dive.
Funnily enough, I actually stopped gymming. So I've always been like, you know, I've loved the gym and
climbing walls. Rock climber. What do they call it? Bouldering.
Bouldering. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've gone up and now you've switched to going down.
Yeah. Live and laugh on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I stopped gymming because you don't want any sort of micro tears in the muscle before you're diving. So when I was doing my like long training stint, I was gymming every day. And I thought, you know, for me, like it's great for my mental health. I love it. I felt really relaxed. And then when I went for the 10-day cycle before the comp, I went back to Ahmed and I think I went to the gym.
Is Ahmed a person?
Ahmed is a place. Yeah.
Why do you keep saying this bloke? Ahmed, where's that? Sorry.
In Indonesia.
Okay, cool.
In Bali, yeah.
All right, yeah. So you went back there when you were gymming, yeah?
Yeah, and so I went to the gym the first day, and then after that I was like, I'm just going to focus on like, you know, yoga and meditation and not worry about the gym. And I could just tell the amount of energy I had was so different. And then I spoke to a few people about it and they're like, you don't want to be gymming during comp or like pre-comp. So between then and the comp, I just completely stopped. I was just doing yoga.
Yeah.
So I actually lost all my muscle. Maybe that's
well, that's probably no more gym.
The science behind micro tears, is that because when you get to pressure, maybe nitrogen will go in your muscles or something?
Yeah, and also because you spend energy fixing those micro tears, right? You've got, you know, the blood goes to that area, you've got inflammation response. So it's you know, to build muscle, you need to
micro tear.
So then how important would your diet be then? Because obviously if you're expending energy into fixing injuries, you're expelling energy into processing poor food choices and alcohol and stuff. Is that
so I stopped drinking.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't drink at all. Sugar, obviously that causes inflammation. So alcohol and sugar are the biggest ones. I've always...
so we're no gym, no alcohol, no, the shredded makes sense.
Oh yeah, true. No alcohol, yes.
Because alcohol makes your body maintain water, right?
Hold water weight,
Hold water weight, yeah. So, but with the micro tear thing, so is it purely because of that, or is it because it can push gases into your muscle when you get deeper, or no?
Well, you've got lactic acid.
Yeah.
So you've got...
Do you get lactic diving?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you've got an influx of CO2, your O2 levels reduce.
Yeah.
But same when you're like trying to build muscle and stuff and you've got those micro tears, you have like... lactic acid, so your body's more acidic. So you need to try an alkaline, which is why I tell people to take bicarb soda to sort of like help.
I heard that was like an old wives' tale where like, oh, I'm going to be more alkaline or have alkaline water. Doesn't your body naturally neutralize anyway?
But when you're pushing it, when you're doing stuff like, you know, not just your day-to-day stuff, then you can always assist it. Like naturally you can get vitamin D, right? But having some more vitamin D here and there doesn't hurt. Yeah.
So if you want any D, guys,
see Delby.
see the sun. Okay, cool. So with the gas exchange as well, what's going on in our bloodstream or our capillaries at the very basic level? You've got oxygen in, and then across the muscle we have capillaries. The muscle, it's excreting carbon dioxide as waste. Oxygen's going in. And when you're going down, where the fuck does that carbon dioxide go? It's in your body. Are you able to get rid of it when you're going down, or does that just store up?
It stores up, which is why recovery breaths at the top, when you surface, they'll say hook or they'll say breathe, and you have to literally go and like suck that oxygen in because, if you forget, like this actually happened at the competition I was at, there was a clean dive. There was this girl and she did a beautiful dive and she smiled. She did like 2 breaths and then stopped breathing. She kind of just like went back to normal breathing, and then she had a delayed blackout. So she did her protocol. It was all fine. Almost got the white card, and because she was like excited, she just blacked out.
Oh wow.
So you need to get straight away.
White card is a clean dive.
Clean dive. Yellow card means early turn, but you've done the protocol right. So it's like it would have been a white card, but you've just turned early.
And that means at the bottom?
Not deep enough? Or?
Yeah, so if I've announced 60 metres or 55, I've turned at 50.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, so you get penalised, like a penalty with points and stuff. But then you get your yellow card as long as you do the surface protocol correctly. Yep. And then red card is like a disqualification.
Yeah, soccer could take some from that. Red card for diving. I wish they did that a fuckload more.
I was following, so what did you do? You did 6?
4.
And you started about 50?
So you have different
this is your competition?
Yeah, we're
going to competition. Yeah. I have a couple of extra questions about learning. But
no, keep going on that because... and
then we can progress.
Yeah, then we can progress.
So with the learning thing, like we've kind of brushed over that. See how we always go back
to the coffee.
So we've started with that 1.5 minute breath. I'm fascinated with how in one day you can get an extra 1.5 minutes, right? So you've done you've learnt, we're going to fucking meditate. Do you have to breathe extra heavy? How do you stop from hyperventilating? Because anytime I've tried to hold my breath and keep going down, I hyperventilate.
Before?
Yeah, because I'm like,
well, that's
and I'll
what
try it again, and then like...
Yeah. Well, that's what you also... Hyperventilating, it delays your urge to breathe. So it's almost like your brain plays tricks on you. Because
so you want to hyperventilate?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Actually, very debatable. I don't do statics.
Yeah. That means
so
like a static breath
like
hold underwater.
Your breath hold, on top or out of water, whatever. But I just got distracted by myself just now.
I thought that was a black screen.
I went to a black screen and pressed the wrong button.
So
breath hold.
Breath hold. So some people do hyperventilate. I don't know enough about statics yet because it doesn't interest me at all. I want to move in the water. So some people do hyperventilate.
Yeah.
I can't answer that one. I'm not sure.
So this is day 1. We're about to learn. What are the main things that you learned in that first lesson that changed?
Your urge to breathe. That's the biggest one is like, it doesn't mean anything.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and you have, you work out your percentages like based on how big your contraction is, where your contraction is, and also are you actually thinking, I should have, this is what happened to me for ages. I say my first contraction was at 1 minute 17, but that was my brain going, and me thinking, okay, I probably should have a contraction now. So I kind of gave myself one. And I was like, yep, that's my first one. And then you put a little sign up so they can write down what your contraction time was. But you push it out. And then I realized, okay, that is not a contraction. I'm just like absolutely pulling that from anywhere.
And so hang on. So you're learning how to hold your breath.
Yeah.
So you do your first one.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, now this time you're going to resist the urge to breathe until your muscles spasm.
No.
What's your next step?
Well, the next step is like, okay, what happens to the mind when you're trying to do a breath hold? Like, what are you thinking about? Strategies, like, are you thinking about your breath hold? Are you thinking, okay, I'm holding my breath now? Or, you know, are you going through like visualization techniques? Are you listening to external stuff? Like, are you counting the grains of sand at the bottom of the pool? Like,
you're just trying to distract yourself away from
distraction. You know, body scans and stuff as well. Like, I was quite tense through my shoulders when I was doing mine. So Veronica, my Wave 1 instructor, she was like, relax your shoulders and, you know, do this, do that.
Yeah. I guess like when
just awareness of your body.
Yeah, because when you meditate, they'll go, release the muscles in your face. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I was held tense in my face.
Yeah, exactly.
So they use that as a strategy to ignore your brain going, we're holding our breath, you need to breathe. We're holding our breath, you need to breathe.
But also holding tension in your shoulders is going to reduce your breath hold anyway. So it's not just mental, it's also physical. Like, relax your shoulders, you're not contracting your muscles.
Right.
So you're not spending energy contracting all the time.
Okay. And then where have you gone from there? So you've relaxed your mind, you relax your body. Is there a certain way to suck air in better than other ways? Do they teach you that? Yeah.
So my first breath as well was sort of just like I thought it was a full breath, but it kind of went straight into my like chest and my rib cage. I didn't even think about my stomach. I didn't, you know, forget that you can actually breathe into your stomach too. I say this in my Pilates classes as well. Like, when you breathe in, think about inflating your belly, so pressing your belly out without engaging your abdominals, because you can also cheat, right? You can breathe in and be like, I've just pushed my stomach out, but there's no air in there. So you have to really think about sinking the air down as deep as you can.
And pregnant.
Yep.
See, I do that in, I guess, you just mentioned it. I do that in meditation when they say breathe into your stomach. Like that, is
stomach,
it a figure eight or infinity breath? Infinity breath, similar?
Yeah. I got distracted there. Sorry, cut you off. Yeah. So you breathe in,
into your stomach first, and then you've got your rib cage. So you think about lateral breathing. So, you know, breathing out to either sides of the room. And then the chest is the last thing. So a lot of, especially nowadays, we all kind of like chest breathe. There's a lot of, I've got people coming in and you can just tell that because there's so much going on and, you know, life's so busy, you forget to breathe properly. And we all hyperventilate.
Certainly one of those people. Yeah. Shallow breaths. Yeah. And just, is that, that's a thing for illness as well, hey? And just in general, it's not good for your health. And everyone breathes like that, which is
because as you exhale, that's when you alkaline the body. You're getting rid of all that recycled oxygen. You're getting rid of that acidity, the lactic acid. So the exhale is so important.
Yeah.
And then that inhale, you've got that influx of new oxygen.
Is that maybe a reason why we do feel so good after meditation? Yeah. Because you are focusing on your breath. And it's such an important part of it that you do, you're alkalining. Yeah.
But it's crazy because we need oxygen, but we can't actually have pure oxygen, hey, because we die.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
What's up? Do you know what the percentage of oxygen in the air is? Is it like 6% or something?
And nitrogen's 79 and...
Is it 79% oxygen, 13% nitrogen or something? Or like... because like... For us to have pure O2, you'd think...
Because what is it on Mars? Because I heard them talking about Mars recently and how obviously we can't live on Mars because of the oxygen percentage or lack thereof. But they can then genetically modify humans.
What?
Yeah, to be able to change their genome so they can actually breathe in the...
Well, they wouldn't even be humans anymore after that. They'd be something else.
Well, and this is why I think... and going off topic, but staying with the breath, but they're saying they can change humans that are going to go there so that they don't have to wear all that shit and they can just breathe.
That's playing God.
That is playing God, but fuck it. If you're going to move into another planet, I think I'd probably go, you can.
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Put it in me.
So we got mind, physical, expanding our things. What else do they teach you?
What else do they teach you? Well, that's pretty much the first day. Yeah. Is that stuff, but then you talk about the depth and what happens to the pressure changes, and then you talk about sort of the blush shift and opening up certain parts of the body, and
so a lot of it's mindset.
Yes,
it's like 90%.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm sure there's physical.
Well, this is the thing is like Tebow, he's one of the best divers in the world.
Oh, Tebow.
Tim Tebow,
French.
Good quarterback, Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Good comedian, Tebow.
He actually, I heard him saying, like, he's got so many students that come through, and how he opens his courses is he says, for you, like for free diving, what percentage is mental and what's physical, what percentage is physical. And a lot of people say, like 90% mental and 10% physical, or 80-20, whatever. And he goes, okay, well, treat your mind like a muscle. how much of your life, what percentage are you giving to your meditation and helping that mind muscle, and how much are you going to the gym and doing the yoga and stuff, you know? Like, what percentage are you doing? How much effort do you put in? Because, you know, he says a lot of people come in and they're like, yeah, I do like 5 minutes meditation here and there every now and then, but I go to the gym like, you know, an hour and a half a day. Yeah. And it's like, well, if you actually, as a free diver or any sport, if you believe that it is 80-20, why are you not, you know, practicing that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And so
we should do like a Patreon where Jade takes us for a dive to see how long we can. Yeah. But now we know these techniques. Will that mean our first breath is longer?
No, because you'll feel it, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah, we can do that.
I don't want to brag, but you know, in the Boxing Day pool swims, I can do the most end to ends after having a full stubby. So
Drink and drown.
Yeah, I've got a GoPro.
3 laps.
I've got a GoPro as well, so we can do underwater.
Yeah, okay.
GoPro 10 that I haven't used.
Yeah,
GoPro 11, I think it is.
How deep do you reckon we could go? Just
4 meters. I went. I think
20.
9 with a scuba.
No, 20.
20.
Easy.
Yeah.
Wave 1.
Yeah.
You're trained in CPR.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 20 meters. What is it like? What does it feel like down there doing that?
20 meters?
Under
so much sexual innuendo.
Yeah. How deep
just
are we talking?
To clarify. Yeah. How does it? How does
Can you still hear sounds and stuff?
Because scuba diving's a bit different. You've got the fucking, you've got all this going
silent.
on. So
that's what I mean. It's like the most silent place in the world. And it feels like, I actually struggle to put this into words because I can't explain how much like it fulfills me, and I feel it's such a bliss doing it. But it feels like it's just me and the ocean and the line, and it doesn't matter about anything that's going on outside or above water. It doesn't matter. And it's really, you have to trust yourself. It's all about trust. So you have to trust yourself, your surroundings, the conditions, your safety divers. Like if you've got dive buddies with you, you've got to trust them, because if anything goes wrong, you've got to make sure, you don't want to be worried about that. But I said this to someone the other day, and I thought this was pretty cool. But like, imagine that love, the person that you love so much, right? And it's kind of like that movie love, and it's sort of that unconditional, like, you know, you're so lucky to experience your life and be able to feel such a love like that. It's kind of like that. It's like, I feel so lucky to have found something where I'm like wholeheartedly so invested, and I thought I loved, you know, swimming and tennis, but now with freediving, it's like, whoa, this is hello. Like, now we're talking.
Yeah, that's how I feel with masturbating.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in love. Is it like a deprivation tank, or even quieter? Have you done those float tanks?
I haven't actually. No, okay. I should. I have a voucher for one. I will do that.
Yeah. Would some people say you're just trying to get as far away from your problems as possible?
Yeah, some people would say that, yeah. But like, it's so, because it's such an individual thing. One of my friends, he says like he's quite an avoidant personality.
Yeah.
And when he dives, it's actually the one time he gets all the negative thoughts and all like past trauma comes up. So he actually deals with his issues through diving.
Negative buoyancy. Yeah,
literally negative point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But is he really dealing with it, or is he just getting to a place where he's not thinking about it? It's like at 61 meters, it gives me counselling advice. Up to 60, I'm fucked.
But there must be some obviously you do it because you enjoy it, and but the sense of achievement as well after must be incredible as well.
You started not trying to like compete or anything, hey? You're just doing it to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I was like,
And then do you feel that Branchy said, of like self-achievement? Because did you mean self-achievement or competition achievement?
The achievement of like, just the, I don't know, like, so anything that, certainly for me, anything that really challenges me and when I can get it done, that sense of achievement is very temporary, temporary. The next part is like, have I got people around me to share this moment with or something like that? This is such a solo thing. It's less about the achievement. It's more for you, I guess.
Yeah, because
it's not even about the achievement. Because like I said before, I don't feel like I've hit my depth where I'd be like, yes, I've achieved my 80 meters. That's like kind of my goal next training cycle. But it's more like the experience, like actually doing it and the feeling at the end. It's just that euphoric, almost like a drug, right? Like you just... Yeah, it's that feeling that you kind of...
And what's the record? It's 104 metres, is it?
Alexei Molchanov just broke, I think, 136.
Oh,
Jesus.
shit.
That's insane.
I guess that was 4 or 5 years ago that she did that. 104.
He?
No, as in Alessia did 104.
Yeah.
So the man record is 136?
136, and I think Alessia's, don't quote me, is 122 now.
Wow.
Fuck. Why are women less than men?
Well,
This is a legit question.
Yeah,
because it's all equal, right?
nah. I mean,
is there a bit of strength involved, like in regards to the kick potentially in certain points?
Size?
Surface area. Yeah, you've
surface
got
area,
surface area. You've got bigger lungs naturally, like physiologically. Yeah. Men are stronger. They have more room. They've got more space. They've got more power.
Oh, you're going the right way to be cancelled by that sort of comment.
Now, what is the total time of a breath hold for a dive like that?
For 60 metres?
No, for the...
I think it was like 4 minutes 30.
Oh, to go all the way down to 130 and back?
Yeah.
Quick. I was thinking it was like...
No, you're fast. No.
Now, we'll start to slowly get into the competition. Now, you're trying to break a depth. That's fine, but that means you still got to come back up, but you can't rush back up because you get the bends, hey?
No, you can rush up.
Really?
What freaks me out about
that's
that?
just scuba diving because that's the nitrogen in the blood. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what freaks me out about it because there's no saving. There's no saving someone. There's no like, hey, I'm down here. The scuba divers who are down there, they can't come back.
Oh, yeah.
You're fucked. You're by yourself.
Oh, yeah. What do they do? Pull you back up on the rope?
No, that's why safety divers are the only ones that can safety dive.
Explain what is safety? Are they connected to a tube at the top?
No, safety divers are free divers.
Oh, what the fuck?
So you've got one that will meet you about 30 metres and one that will meet you at about 15, 20 metres, and you might have a third because the blackouts usually happen in the last part of the dive, but they are the only ones that can come up. You do have something called a counterweight, which I figured out at the competition. But if you stop moving in the dive, they can pick it up on the sonar, so they can see that you've stopped moving. So say if I'm at 60 metres and something happens and I get stuck, they wait for like 5 to 10 seconds, and if you're not moving, they have a counterweight on the other side, and it yanks you
on the line.
Up. Yeah, and it pulls you up, so it drops like the weight on the other side, and then you fling up pretty quick.
Sick.
So that is, I don't know if that happens in all competitions, but
and there's no negative effects for going up super fast.
For that sometimes there is, because usually you've hung at that certain point for a period of time, so sometimes you can. And
that's how you get brain damage.
Yeah, they've only just worked out
oxygen to the brain.
Yeah, they've only just worked out recently that it's possible for free divers to get the bends like that. And DCS, that was new, that they thought you never could. So I think when you start hitting extreme depths, that's when it becomes...
So we've talked obviously all the nice positives and thing, and I don't want to go on the negative path, but there is obviously some big negatives with the blackouts. Squirrely's talked about shallow water blackout, but it is that last few minutes. And that first, and I'll keep going back to this doco because it's what I've watched and all I know about it, but that first 3 or 4 minutes of that first dive of that documentary is literally you're following her all the way down and all the way back up, and then bang, she blacks out. And that seemed fucking... It was you can't look away from this one scene, and it's so quiet, like you said, that they do a really good job of showing what it would be like, I guess, from an outside point of view. Yeah. But when she gets to the top, and it's very important to be face up. So, and this is obviously what happened to Stephen, but talk about what they got to do, because they're literally resuscitating them in the water. So what's the scenario there? Have you been resuscitated?
No, I've never had a blackout before.
You told me a crazy story, but
did I?
Yeah.
Which one?
Where they thought they were like looking at you, and you didn't realize you were doing something fucked up, where you had you got stuck.
No, that was just on a dance floor.
Yeah. You got stuck or something?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about that.
Do that after this bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Stephen, Alessia, shallow, the blackout.
Yeah, so the blacking out, resuscitating. Actually, let's talk through that whole thing, because that's, I don't want to wreck the doco, but someone does. It's not great. So what's the go there? What's the resuscitation stuff? And
well, so the safety divers, depending on whether your blackout was at the top or if you've blacked out at 15 metres, you get pulled up, so you've got to shut the airways. So you keep the chin shut so water doesn't come in. Then if they're wearing a mask, you take the mask off, nose clip, take it off, and usually blowing in their face and
With
like
oxygen.
Yeah, to clarify. And saying their name, you say, Branchy, come back. Like, you're okay. That's enough because you pretty much go brain dead for a little bit.
Yes.
But getting that any sort of stimulation is enough sometimes. But otherwise, you're going to have some oxygen blown into you. So open your mouth or through the nose. Sometimes that's still not enough. Sometimes there's like other effects and you start frothing or other things happen. And you have to get pulled up and you're on the oxygen and sometimes you have to go into.
So we need to do that next time there's lockdowns to all the vaxxers. Just fucking blow oxygen into them so they're not so brain
where
dead.
are you going with this?
All these brain dead fucks.
It's but it's obviously that, and so if we talk through the situation, so this wasn't even a comp. This was Alessia trying to just. What was the place that she was trying to do? It's like a.
It's called the arc. So you go 55 meters down on the line, and then it's I believe 35 meters under like this cave.
Cave coral reef sort of thing.
So you can't go up. You have to go through, and then 55 meters up.
Oh, the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually like an arc.
And only one person had achieved this before.
Yeah. So Alexei Molchanov, the one that broke the record, it's his mum, Natalia.
Right.
So she was the only person.
And that means that you can't free fall at the bottom. You've got to start kicking.
Yeah, you got to kick. So you're negatively buoyant. Yeah. So you kind of have to
crawl.
No, you swim. You got to swim. You just got to make sure you're like.
And so in that situation, it's dark. Can't see. You have no idea what's going on. And
most people don't talk about narcosis. So
What's that?
That's almost like when you get to a point because you've got an influx of CO2 and you've got different nitrogen levels and stuff. Narcosis is when you almost feel drunk. Like people have different reactions. Some people get giggly. Some people get like a little bit out of it. You can train to resist narcosis like a bit deeper, but it will happen. So sometimes, you're not quite thinking straight.
And so
now, when she's paddling through it, there's negative buoyancy. That means she'll have to kick super hard to get back up, or no?
Yeah.
But
or do you just
coming back up? Yeah. So you've got because you're swimming 35 meters, you've got that lactic acid build up. You've got the carbon dioxide. Your oxygen levels are depleting, and then you've got to come up, and you've got more lactic acid than usual, than going down and up.
And so she's gotten through to this point. She's gotten through down her 55 metres, across her 35 metres, and her spotter, Steve, is not there. He's meant to be there to help guide her back to the top, but he's mistimed his dive by about 10, 15 seconds for whatever reason. They had timed it perfectly. They knew exactly what it was going to be. For whatever reason, he mistimed it, and she's decided to start. She's lost, so decided to start swimming to the top, to the surface, I guess, to wherever the light was. Stephen's seen this and tried to swim to save her himself, and they both blacked out at the top from memory.
Yeah.
And he's in his last moments of consciousness, put her on her back to save her life. And
why wouldn't they have another person there for him?
Because they had stuffed up there. They were meant to be straight up. She had swum off, so he went off to save her. Like 40 metres away.
And the person above him couldn't see that.
No. So it's so far down, it's black.
Yeah, right.
And as he's gotten to the top, he's used his last moments of consciousness to turn her on her back, so she survived and he died.
Yeah.
And
Now,
drowned.
would they have seen them where they popped up, or she's just turned floating and then they found her?
No, they eventually found them, but they were looking, they were trying to work out where they were because they were down. They knew something had gone wrong, but it wasn't until they saw both of them in a distance and Stephen was face forward. They both blacked out. So he was blacked out.
Face down.
Face in, yeah.
Wow. Fuck, they need an Apple AirTag on them, bro.
Mate,
And you can track them.
But the thing is
there any tracking?
No.
Fuck,
No.
that's...
depth level there isn't there?
Well, there's that sonar that I was talking about, so you can see where they are on the line. But this is different. This was a whole
surely you
different
chuck
thing. Not many people
an Apple
do this.
AirTag on you, or like a fucking tile or
But
something, so you can find it by Bluetooth.
The worst thing was the romance between them, and so like she lost her partner.
Were they together, or is
see,
this
this
they've
is
tried
the
to dramatize
Ish.
it?
Some people say yes, some people say no. When I was in Komodos, I actually asked, were they actually together? And I think maybe Netflix dramatized that a little bit.
Okay.
I think they maybe weren't official. I think they were just like really close.
Yeah,
and had a
yeah,
good
yeah.
connection, but I
Yeah.
don't think they were
Okay.
romantically.
Romantic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right. Now, Yeah, so that's pretty hectic. There's a pretty high death rate, yeah, for free diving.
Yeah.
Like more than other sports. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really looked into the rate. I
don't want you to
I
just
don't
shout
know.
it.
Yeah, you are.
No, but there is. I saw
I
a
guess-
weird fact the other day, but I don't want to
But I guess that's
put that in your head.
That's why I messaged you about like the was that my phone?
Yeah.
That's what I messaged you about the challenge of it all. Like that is inspiring to see people pushing their body to the limits. I fucking love that shit. But that doesn't seem to be why you're doing it. Like, I know you're going to push yourself to that point. I know you think you can go further, but you just seem to be doing it because you enjoy it, which is probably...
I love it. I'm competitive. I am, ask Delby, probably the most competitive person ever. And so that...
No, you're not. I am.
I wrestle right now. Go.
Yeah.
So because I like challenging, I like growing as a person, right? So if my challenge is to not be competitive... I'm now becoming competitive about not being competitive. So that's sort of what I've actually really had to work on is like, because I went into this competition initially being like, I want to break the Australian record. I want to get this and podium and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, hold on.
Well, you still got the third, hey?
Yeah. So third overall in the comp. So it was Amber Burke, the Australian, and then an Austrian second, and then me third.
Aussie, but different Aussie for the second.
So it's ostracizing. That's you come third after 7 months of doing
Third in the world?
No, second in Australia.
Yeah.
So that was an Australia-wide comp open to international?
Yeah.
So what is that called? Is that called the Australian Open?
It's called AFA ADA Depth Nationals.
Australian Freediving Association.
Yes.
What's the next one? ADA?
ADA.
International Diving Association.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, yes.
Right. So it's like having
that'll do.
So it's having like a World Cup in Australia because there'll be one in another country that you can go and enter, or no?
There will never. Wait, what do you mean?
Like the thing that you entered.
Yeah.
Does that get held elsewhere in the world?
Yeah. It's just never Australia because we don't have access to depth here.
So where did you do it?
Philippines, Komodo.
So everyone in the world went there to do it?
Just Australians and a couple of international people, yeah.
Okay.
But then you've got Worlds.
Okay.
And so you've got two companies. So you've got IDA and CMAS. So they're two different associations. So you've got like two of everything, a double Worlds, a double this and that. So I think they've just held it in, not Egypt, somewhere, but in October.
Pretty hard to dive in sand, eh?
Egypt's the
that's
big
where the shark attack was.
Is it the Blue Hole?
Yeah, the Blue Hole, yeah.
Blue Hole,
and then also Greece, there's one coming up in Greece. So just they move it around. It's
Blue Hole sounds like an Avatar sex tape.
Have you seen this Blue Hole? It's like literally just
a big blue hole.
Like it's all like normal,
Yeah.
normal water as you'd and then just fucking bang,
blue.
like one spot.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's just
so
how deep
exciting.
is that?
It turns me on so much.
How deep is that?
Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really big.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean that as an Innuendo, but so you're competing. How do they do it? Is it women, just all women? Is there like a skill bracket? Is there like a
women, men,
weight bracket? Just women,
male, female,
men.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of all the women in the world that competed at the Australian one, you came third.
Yeah, it wasn't a big competition. Like
There was 3 people in it.
Australian Nationals isn't one of the big ones. Like the next competition I do will be Worlds.
How many entered?
Oh, I'm gonna say like 30 all up.
Oh, well, there you go. So you're in this top 1%.
But
top 10%.
It gives me, now I'm on the board. Like before I didn't exist, even if my PB was like 55, now it's actually on record.
Yeah.
So now, I'm the second deepest or best Australian in Australian history.
In
ever.
That's insane, bro.
So weird.
That's so cool.
So weird.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so now they exist, and that's why I went into the competition wanting 4 white cards, because if I hadn't got any of those, then I wouldn't be on the board. Or
so you have to get 4 clean dives.
You don't need 4. I could have got like 3, but one of mine would not have counted.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my aim.
And you do all 4 in the same day?
No. So
okay, I was going to say, because that sounds dangerous.
So you pick. So for this competition, sometimes they allocate which day you have to do which discipline. But you could pick your day. So I did free immersion day 1, another discipline day 2, and then
you're going to have to explain these disciplines, because I did Italian immersion at school and it's fully different.
There's no depth there.
Yeah.
And then 2 other.
All length. Yeah, and two other
disciplines. So it was like 2 days, 1 day off, 2 days.
All right, explain the disciplines because I thought you just dive down and then you come back.
Yeah.
So
you want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
What is there? There's
So
like no fins?
Yep, so you got no fins, which is almost like that breaststroke, split stroke movement. That one I love because it is literally you and the ocean. Like you've got no equipment to help you get down there. You've got free immersion, which is where you pull on the rope.
Pull down to pull yourself down.
You pull down and then you go into your free fall, and then to come up, you've got to pull up until 15 meters. So that's literally like, what's that? When you climb a rope.
Climbing a rope. Yeah.
That's what you call it.
Or jerking off an elephant. One of the two.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a rope climb.
So would that present a different challenge because you're doing your buys and not your legs?
I mean,
because like your
there's
arms
pros
would fatigue?
No.
Or no?
No fins is definitely the most physically exerting.
Which one?
No fins.
No fins. Yeah.
Because it's literally, it's quite, it's a lot.
Because you do the skull breast kick push down.
Teach me.
Oh. What's the movement? Is it like a
yeah? It's
so
like,
you bring your arms up around your head like you're doing a dive?
No. You come close. So you want to stay as streamlined as possible.
Right,
so
I'm going to describe this movement. So you got your hands, your palms face your chest. Bring it up past your mouth, and then we straight up like a dive, pull it around like a breaststroke. And then push like push down like you're trying to fly.
Yeah.
And your legs, what are your legs doing?
Like a breaststroke, like a
breaststroke kick, like a frog kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. So there's that one, and then coming back up, do you just do the same thing in reverse?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your no fins.
Yeah.
The rope pull.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't this burn the fuck out of your arms on the way up?
Yeah. I mean, you use your arms more because you're not using your legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably what I think most people say is the easiest one. It's my least favorite one.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the easiest one.
Okay.
The least amount of energy is required.
And what's the third one?
Third one is constant weight with a monofin. So that's like the one mermaid fin.
Yeah.
And then you've got constant weight bifins, which is like the freestyle kick movement.
And constant weight means what?
It just means you're moving down.
Oh, okay.
And swimming.
Okay.
Using your legs.
Now, to become second in Australia, you have to average a depth across M4, or is each four of those individual?
So they add the points up, they tally them up, and then it's
and that's your rank.
Yeah, so 1 meter is 1 point.
And where can you get the deepest? Which one?
Constant weight monofin.
Right.
So I didn't have a monofin. I don't own one.
Did you have to borrow one?
It's my favourite one. No, I asked the Austrian.
Yeah.
And she said no.
Oh!
She was competitive.
So competitive. I thought I was competitive. I was like, I would have let you borrow my monofin.
Yeah.
She just said no.
Yeah.
Why?
Wow.
Is it dangerous?
It's not dangerous.
Can the equipment be damaged or?
I wasn't going to damage. You can't damage it.
What? So you didn't enter the monofin?
I did. I just did with the bifins. So you can't go as deep, but I just did literally the butterfly movement, like the monofin.
So they were watching you to make sure you didn't.
No. So because you can go so much deeper with a monofin, you can do bifins in the monofin category, but you can't do the other way around.
Yeah.
So it was like a disadvantage.
So did that mean that?
You still came second with that.
So does that mean you probably would have won if you had a mono? What was the gap?
Look, I probably would have announced deeper than her for the mono, which maybe is why she didn't want to, or maybe just, it's a personal thing. I understand. It's
competition.
It's like, you don't want me to wear your Birkenstocks, maybe?
I don't ever want to wear them. So,
but
they're horrific.
I understand. I do get it. So, yeah.
So in competition, now you've got these 4 swims or 4 categories. Each one, you have to announce what you're going to try get.
The day before. So 3 p.m. is cut off.
Yeah.
So you need to, no matter how you wake up the next day, you've announced it the day before.
Yeah.
No matter how you've slept. You committed to that, which was interesting. Yeah, it was super interesting.
Is there strategy with that? Like you're trying to psych out other swimmers?
No, mine was, I got all 4 white cards. So I literally was like, I'm going to start with my least favourite and like the shallowest dive, which was free immersion for me. So that was, 50, 45? I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I started with that because I was like, I'm going to be nervous about the protocol because my practice dive was such a balls up.
Yeah.
So I was so nervous going into it. So I was like,
what do you mean balls up? What'd you do?
Oh, where do I start?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start.
Because what's protocol? Like you got to do everything right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even coming up, hey.
Even coming up. So I learned all this. Never done a comp before. So I got there 4 days before comp. So I had 3 days of training and then a day off, and then comp started. So on the third training session day, they allowed for a platform practice, and I was like, sweet, I've never practiced off a platform before. So different, because I'm used to diving off a buoy. So you've got this big inflatable thing, you're just hanging off it, and then you go down and dive.
Yeah.
On the platform, you've got the line, and people use, and you don't have anything to float on, and you don't want to like contract your muscles, right? I now know you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so people use, neck pillows or noodles, just like to relax. Yeah. So you meditate or you do your relaxation on the platform, and then you go onto the line and you're relaxing there. Then they give you a countdown, and they say like 3 minutes until dive time. So you get given an official top, which is, let's say 9 a.m. is my official top. So that's when it starts. Then they go 3 minutes, and then they say, okay, you've got a minute and a half. And then they count you down from 10. So they go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, official top. That's when you can start your dive.
Do you have to go immediately?
So they give you, then they say +1, +2, and they say that till +10. And then they give you 30 seconds after your official top to do your dive.
Right. So just whenever you're feeling it, you go down. Or do you get penalised the longer you take?
No, you don't. Yeah, so as long as you dive before that 30-second post-official top, you're fine.
So essentially you got 40 seconds to go down. +10, +30.
No, +30.
Oh, so +10 and then 20 more seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And you can't dive early. I now know. You're not allowed to let your airways...
So you tried to dive early?
No, okay. So again, this was my practice. So this was great that I messed it all up in one go. So I got 4 red cards in my first practice dive, and so I went into the competition being like, okay, I'm screwed. So I started off, and they were like, all right, I had the noodle. So that's right. They're like, do you want a noodle? What do you want? And I was like, yeah, I'll have a noodle. No worries. Chuck it in. So I had the noodle, and I was sitting on it like a chair.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, do you want it attached or not? And I was like, oh, no, that's fine. Had no idea how to answer any of the questions. It's like, yes, no, smile and wave, boys. Yeah. So I used this noodle, and then I was like, okay, a little bit nervous anyway, because everyone was watching this. It was just sort of like a supportive thing. And you had the judges and safety divers. They go, all right, 3, 2, 1. And I try and enter. And I've somehow managed to get tangled in the noodle line, and the line, and I cannot enter. My head is in the water, and my legs are just wrapped around something.
Oh, my God.
So I was there, and I was like, fuck, I want to stay down here for a second, because I am so scared to see everyone's faces coming up. Like, I literally couldn't move. Like, even if I wanted to, like, try and squiggle out, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I came back up, so embarrassed, and I was like, and the safety diver, I was like, no one saw anything. We'll give it another go, 2 minutes. And I was like, okay. And I just look over at my friend Adam Sellers, and he's just like shaking his head, like, oh my gosh, and everyone saw it. So I was like, all right. So literally 10 seconds into it, not even, red card. And then
is that because you went down and came back up?
No, it's because I didn't start my dive.
Oh,
it's
right.
because I went 1 meter, not even, 0.5. Well done, Jade. So that was my first mess up. And then the second one was they started counting down. And so I started taking my final breath as they were counting down. So, 5, 4, 3, I've hit the top of my breath. I'm now holding my breath on top, being like, all right, come on. And so I thought I timed it perfectly at 0 or at official top, but I actually entered at 2. So it was 2, 1. So that was my airways hit, red card.
Dude,
I go down.
early fit sucks.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I go down, I hit the bottom, hit my depth. So for me, the issue isn't the depth, it's everything else.
Yeah.
So I hit that, come back up. And because I've watched everyone do their dives, and they're wearing the nose clips, and I'm the only person at the competition wearing a mask still. They've taken them nose clip completely off. So I've copied them and taken
at the bottom?
At the top.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So the turn's all good?
The turns are good. Yeah, the dive was fine. Yeah, it was all good. I think it was all good.
How far was that one?
I think it was just 50.
Yeah,
just
50.
Yeah,
Just
50. Just a practice to try.
Just the depth they lost the sub at. No biggie.
And then at the top, I've taken my mask completely off. Part of the protocol is you have to keep your airways above water. If your airways enter, that's a red card. So I'm holding the rope with my right hand. I've taken my mask off completely with my left. I have no hands to signal I'm okay. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I say I'm okay and smile sort of with my mask and everything at once, which you have to when you come up, your airways above water, you do your recovery breaths as you're taking your equipment off. Then you signal first, and then you say, I'm okay. So if you signal, say I'm okay, signal again, it's a red card. If you say I'm okay and signal at the same time, red card. If you say it first, like it's just, you need to make sure.
They take Are You Okay Day very seriously.
Oh, they do. Oh, they do. So I've messed it up again.
Yeah.
And so at the end I was like, oh my gosh, I am so, like, it's literally day one of competition tomorrow. And I said to one of the safety divers, I was like, what else can I mess up? And he was like, I think you pretty much nailed all of it. Like, I think you're okay. Because I was nervous.
Call me crazy. You're entering an Australia-wide competition.
Yeah.
Surely 6 months before you learn this, you learned the fucking what you do at each point of your dive. Like, surely going into it, you are like, oh yeah, I know how to play tennis. I'm going to serve. If it goes out, that's a fault. I know how to play footy. If I tackle someone without the ball, that's a free kick to them. But you've decided to enter a national competition and gone, oh, fuck, I don't even know the rules. Let's figure it out one day before attempting.
So, you know,
surely
you've
gone through that.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
Did your coach never
I
think
didn't have a coach.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have a coach.
Didn't your team that you practice with think to go, oh, Jade?
I didn't know I was going to do the comp until like, you know, I was like, okay, my friend Sam and I, we'd never done a comp before and we were both quite like comfortable in the water. And Adam Sellers, he was like, yeah, I'm coming over as well to compete. Unfortunately, he got sick, so he couldn't. But he ended up helping us along and like coaching us a little bit. But I don't think anyone actually realised how little I knew until then.
Yeah.
When I messed everything up.
Cool. I'll just grab the person at the door. We just had a random pop in from our landlord.
Landlord.
Yeah. So we met Mark. Nice guy. Just been to Italy.
And we're back.
Gallivanting.
Yeah.
So sorry, we just had to get that checked out so we don't sweat to death in here.
Actually pretty good today. But
Yeah.
That's from the other room.
That one's fucking good.
Yeah.
That one's cooling in here.
Yeah, because that was meant to be 16 degrees and it's like, it was
Just
a bit
blowing
cooler
air,
than yesterday.
yeah.
But sorry. So we got to Adam Sellers, then you guys kept talking and you were talking about competition.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have learnt the rules and then he's kind of quickly told you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the competitive stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Amber Burke, so number one in Australia. She goes, don't start your final breath until official top because it's not going to take you 30 seconds to breathe in. Yeah. So don't start. And that was like that was great. And I thought afterwards, it's actually good that I messed everything up so royally.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if I had timed that perfectly, I would have probably messed it up in the next dive anyway. So it was
100%.
good. Yeah.
You should, because that's how you learn, right?
Oh, exactly.
So that's like the best possible thing. There are so many sexual innuendos in this that I can't get it. Just even saying official top, I'm like, oh, gay guys love this.
So that's why, have you noticed that me and Jade are saying to clarify a bit?
Yeah,
'Cause last night, every second message we had to say to clarify, just to clarify.
So I'm literally still holding back on heaps.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just, because I want to hear you talk and I know too much is so just trying to hit my markers.
To clarify.
Yeah, 15 minutes in, 30 metres, 45 minutes. So you fucked all that up and then you go to your dives and you nail it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Nailed it, yeah.
And how many points did you come second by or third by?
A fair few.
What's that?
10? I
10?
actually don't know. No. Like, I don't know. I think she got 240 and I got 198 or something.
Right. So you wouldn't have made that up with the mermaid kick?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, and not with Amber.
Yeah.
Maybe
and how
with
come Amber didn't lend you her fin?
Well, she did the same discipline on the same day, so I wasn't going to ask
So
her.
selfish.
I was also so nervous. I had like stage fright. I was
So
like,
shellfish.
Stage so nervous to talk to her.
I mean, she's pretty good. She's like, I think the second best no fins diver in the world.
Wow.
Better than
I guess it would be like Bill Burr coming in here. For like,
and being like, hey, by the way, can I just borrow your number one monofin? Thanks. No biggie.
Yeah. Bill, can I use that joke? Yeah. Fair
can I open for you?
Yeah. Fuck, fair point, actually. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sick. Yeah. So you go in and 4 white cards, goal achieved. Deepest depth? 60 was it?
58. No, I did 60
out of competition. Right.
After.
And the record for Australia, women?
For which discipline?
In all.
74 for bifin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I did 60 in.
That's the B in LGBT.
I'm going to say 81 for constant weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what her no fins is.
What were you getting down at constant? How close are you to each record?
Well, that's the one that I wanted to you
can't say it. Does that give away strategy or they'll train harder? Are you close or not close?
No, I'm not close.
Okay.
Not that close. I mean, it's
All
like 10 meters.
Okay.
For bipins.
Okay.
So
you know that.
There was another innuendo.
Yeah.
Are you
close.
In 7 months' time, you'll be the new.
I mean,
If you're improving exponentially, then it's all over. See you later, Amber and Alessia. She is a Alessia diver compared to Jade. So now tell us about the one that you fucked up when we went for a coffee a little while ago, and you were like, "Yeah, I fucking nearly died," and everyone was like, "What's going on?" And you just were like, "Blah blah blah." Did you have narcosis or something? Was that what you had?
Maybe. I probably did. So this was my very first 50-meter dive. I had Kim, he's my favorite training buddy, and Sam, one of my other favorites. They were on my line, and it was the day before I was leaving to come back to Perth. And being competitive, I was like, I want to hit 50 before I leave. I don't want to leave at like 48 meters. I don't want to do that. So I said to them, I want to hit 50 before I go. And they were like, yep, cool. This is the day. So I was like super excited, did my breathe up and went down. I had a different lanyard. So it was actually Kim's lanyard instead of the official lanyard. So
and
that
what's that?
That's the thing that attaches.
Is that?
That's the thing that attaches.
She's doing the jerking off moment, that movement.
This episode is going to be free diving innuendo.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I had a lanyard that attached me to the line so I wouldn't get lost. But
And the lanyard joins your stomach or your waist?
your like weight belt
Yes.
or your waist or your wrist.
Okay.
So I don't know what it was attached to that day.
Yeah.
So I go down. The dive was super comfortable, super easy, and then I'm like, oh sweet, I hit 50 meters. I had that I was so excited. I was so proud.
Yeah.
And then I took a moment, kind of looked around, and I was like, yep, sweet. My arms go
Popped
up.
a bit of water out your eye.
Yeah. Bit of a squirt.
Yeah.
Arms come up, and I'm ready to finish off the dive. And as I start trying to kick, I'm like, oh, I can't move. Like, I'm stuck. And I look down, and so this is maybe where the narcosis came in. It took me a few attempts to work out that I'm not moving, I'm actually stuck. So then I looked down, and for me, I thought I was really quick at thinking. I thought I was like, okay, I'm stuck, unhook, hook back on, up I go. Apparently, so it felt like 3 seconds, and I had Kim, who was waiting at 10 meters, and Sam, that he was at 20 meters, and they know I'm a pretty quick diver. So they kind of are waiting there, and they're doing a breath hold, so they're waiting for me to come up, and they're like, okay, we can't see her. And they look at each other, and they're like, oh, shit. So they start swimming down, or Sam started swimming down. And then I just come up, smiling, oh, yeah, sweet. And apparently I was down there for 30 seconds longer.
So it felt fast,
seconds.
but it was actually ages.
Yeah.
I wish I had that problem.
I was so I was so relaxed.
Yeah. So what hooks? Why did you get stuck?
Just the lanyard got stuck on the little octopus thing got stuck on the bottom.
Okay, you're going to have to
jarred.
elaborate what the fuck's an octopus thing.
You're really testing. I'm not good with
my
things.
octopus teacher. He's just down there going, oh, she's so beautiful.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Look at her flailing around in the water.
Her heart is beating quite fast.
What?
No, very slow.
Yeah. What's the octopus thingy? Is that something that comes down with you?
It's just like a metal latch.
Okay. Of course, sounds exactly like an octopus.
Of course, Delby. It's a
yeah, of course,
latch.
it's a metal latch without 8 spokes. Does it have 8 spokes or legs or something?
I don't know why it's called that.
Right, so you got caught, and as you come up, why would they invent something that can go around that and get caught up? That makes no sense to me.
So this is Kim's. I think maybe we should have tested that before.
So his lanyard didn't fit the line.
Yeah.
I
think.
So it's too big for the line. And you have to unhook. You unhook from the line and reattach to the line. That's dangerous in itself, right? Or no?
I mean, yeah, I could be if I didn't hook it on properly.
Yeah, because if you don't hook, then you fall and bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally just like a little clip, and I just hooked it off, kind of took it off, put it back on, and then boom. So for me, I was like, that was the best dive ever. But a lot went. What
was your total time for that dive?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was 30 seconds longer than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So they would be freaking out knowing that you should be coming back up at that point.
And there was a
and
moment.
the fact they didn't come down and get you.
No, they did. They started swimming. But
so what does that do to them? Because if they're having to come back down, they're holding breath.
They're holding their breath. And so, Sam he would say like 20, and then he maybe went to like 28.
Is it dangerous for them then?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it does. That's what happened with Stephen. That's why he was like
Yes.
so great, because he did that. He was doing his hold, and then he went down and did a deep safety.
Yeah.
But
It's a gridiron.
yeah, so it's not ideal. Like it's definitely not ideal.
This is, I didn't even think about this before. I had a bit of narcosis earlier. The free divers the safety divers would have to train static dive as well then. Static breath hold. Because they go down and just sit there for ages.
Ideally, no. Usually you want to time
wait.
it. So
They
you
wait
get told, I've got some like top footage of the dives, and you've got someone who's on the sonar, and they're like, all right, first diver, go down. You're meeting her at 30. All right, second safety, go. And then he can see when I'm coming up. He'll be like, all right, she's met the first safety.
Oh, so you go down and no one dives down?
No.
You're going down. They've got your sonar, your length.
Yeah, I'm
They
down.
see
hit the
where
bottom.
you hit, and then they time it so they swim down. Right.
So they just come down and up.
Okay,
Ideally,
so they don't
just
sit there and wait.
No.
Now, so Stephen would have got down, no one's there, fucking start looking around and keep going down.
Yeah.
So every safety diver would have to prepare for a really long dive.
No,
They've still got the
they got
data up the top saying where their depth is and how they're going.
Yeah, but like, let's say
they know
in
what-
Stephen's case, or
No,
let's
that
say,
was a different.
okay, well, let's say in your case, you're down there, you're hooked on. He thinks he's doing a, say, 20-meter safety dive, but the reality is he has to prepare mentally and physically for a dive all the way down to 50 if something happens to you.
No, he
No,
wouldn't.
so you're just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
That's the fucked up shit. That's why I'm like, this is a
Why?
bit freaky.
He can't come. No way, unless like it takes a lot, and especially his PB at the time was like 47, so he can't even. He's
Takes
not
a
even
lot to get to that 50.
What the
getting
fuck?
to
And a
that
line.
point.
And
So
a
you
line.
need, so ideally you would want someone that can dive deeper than what you're going for.
Yeah,
but if
even
you're
then,
hell good,
even
no.
then he shouldn't. Even if like I've got a 110 meter diver, they shouldn't be waiting at 30 and then going to 50. Like it's dangerous. So you put yourself. The safety divers do put themselves first.
It's actually
like you have to.
It's actually very good that you did not watch
Yeah.
the deepest breath, because you can ask these questions for people who haven't heard
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
If you go watch the deepest breath now, it's going
plain.
to fucking freak you out. Some
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
shit. Your respect for her will go up even more.
I already
Like
respect her. She's a woman, and
but it'll go up even further. You'll be like,
my
what the fuck,
Yeah.
man? Like, it's pretty.
I already
pretty
do it because I know when I was fucking snorkeling, holding my breath, trying to look under coral, which is like 3 meters, I fucking panic attack. I have one look, oh, there's a fish, and I'm straight back up. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to die. Like, that's how I know it. I'm like, 30 seconds, fuck. I try to dive down and then I start floating back up. Then I'm like, oh.
See, because
I'm
you're
gonna die.
buoyant. You need weight.
Yeah.
You need a weight belt.
Yeah. It's fucking, but fuck, bro. I don't know.
And then I guess that would lead into like that sort of stuff, though, like the free diving to just go snorkeling and swimming. You must
I
use
love it.
that to your advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
Spearfish?
I literally look at my scuba equipment now and it's rusty and I think I need to get rid of it because it's too far gone past the service.
Because if you like, obviously, there would be fears of sharks and stuff like
I love them.
There's no fear of a shark if you're doing the dive or anything like that.
I went and did a dive in the Swan like 3 days after the attack.
Oh yeah,
in Perth.
A dive, like
yeah.
a free
Swan
dive.
River.
Yeah, so I did a hang at like 20 meters. I was hanging there and I was like, I'm probably surrounded by so many bull sharks right now.
Yeah.
That was a bit nerve wracking. I didn't like that
fucking
because
nice.
you couldn't see anything. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't see my hand in front of me.
Yeah.
That was the only time I was a bit worried.
Yeah,
but
why would you do that? Why the river?
The bull sharks are the most violent out of all of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah.
about the river. I've done the Blackwall Reach jump,
Yeah.
and a week later was an attack.
Yeah, so I was a few days after that. Because there's no depth, I was desperate times.
Yeah.
What, you can't get a boat out to like fucking
No, because you want to be like 15 minutes from land.
In case
If
anything
anything
goes wrong.
happens.
Safety?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
fair
to
enough.
get any depth, you've got Rottnest is like 17.5 meters, and then you've got, I think, Rockingham maybe like 25 meters, and that's the maximum. This is
What's the
why
Swan?
we don't train. I believe 25 as well.
You're right. Fuck, man. I hell want to do the magnet fishing, eh? The TikTok has hell got me onto that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I reckon we should do it.
But not in
mate.
Australia.
Why?
I can't go. Like, you mean when you go in the water?
No. Like, she's just made me think of going deep, and then this is my ADHD thought process.
Finding all
So
the
you
phones
going,
and shit.
going down. I was on a boat with my mate, and he lost his fucking iPhone 12
Yeah.
or 11 at the time. It was the most expensive one off the edge
Yeah.
And it went straight
There'd
down.
be so much shit
and
in
he
the river.
offered like $1,000 to anyone that would go down and get it.
Not in the river.
And it was off
Not
Blackwall
going.
Reach. And
You're
it was
a
like,
fucking psycho for going in there.
yeah, everyone was like, nah, it's
Just
way too far.
simply because of exactly what you said. It's you can't see. You
Yeah.
cannot see.
Yeah, I was stressed. Like I was planning to do like a 1.5 minute hang at the bottom or like 2 minutes hang. And after about 30 seconds, I felt a bit nervous. I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to hang at 10. And then even then I was like, oh.
It's just you can't see, man. I
Yeah.
fucking don't like I'm
I
not.
don't like
I have a little fear of the sharks and stuff like that. I guess not too bad, but like a little fear.
Yeah.
But in clear water, I'm still like, nah, I can see them coming. Whereas, where the river,
Yeah, you don't want to.
I would rather not be able to see him because, like, if you see him
one.
coming, I'm like, oh,
What?
I'm about to die.
I guess
If
maybe
you
they
can't see
can't
him,
see
like,
you though. Maybe they can't see you then.
Yeah, I don't know. Bull sharks. Yeah, well, they did the sensors, right?
Yeah, sensors. Yeah,
The
that's true.
ampullae, something of ampullae.
Yeah, something
or,
like that.
Of labia of Lawrence Arabia. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, well, I want to go magnet fishing, man. Like, I see all the TikToks and they're pulling up like safes and guns.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Let's buy a magnet and we'll just go to Swan and chuck it in and see what we get.
I'll save
okay.
you.
Yeah, well, no, we don't have to jump in. We'll just go from the edge. Bigger safety, me.
I'll save you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Just hold the line.
I like that.
So yeah, you want to try. Your aspirations will now be to
Where are we going?
slowly get to the best.
Yeah, I want to hit. My goal is to hit 100 at Vertical Blue.
Is that a place?
Vertical Blue is like the Wimbledon of freediving.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the time frame?
I don't know yet. I haven't
You
thought
have
about
to set
that.
a smart goal.
Maybe 2
Specific,
years.
measurable.
2 years,
2
yeah.
years?
Yeah.
All right.
This is what I'm going to do.
And then in
the next
3 or
couple of
4
weeks.
years, you'll be holding the world record.
And which is the one that I said I would come to? Whenever your next one.
The big blue hole.
What is the one that you said?
I want to come and
Next
I want to
May.
learn.
Yeah.
When's your next thing?
This is what I need to
In
do.
Bali?
I'm going to sit. No, it won't be Bali. I'm going to sit down and work out when, because I want to plan my training cycle. So like 4 or 5 weeks of training hard right before the comp. Because what I did this time was I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go for 10 days to Bali, come back to work, to clinic for 3-4 weeks, and then 3 days before the comp. And everyone was like, okay, you are a rookie. You don't do that. You spend like at least 2 weeks getting back to your depth. It's that depth adaptation at least. Some people spend months before the comp.
Yeah, pussies.
Yeah.
Weak dogs.
Watch me die with a
Yeah.
mask.
Because I do want to.
So one time that you want a mask.
I'm very interested to learn because I do like doing things that
Yeah.
I don't like to do. It seems like one of the scariest things I could do. So it makes me want to do it. I hope how my brain works like that. But now I'm like, I see you do it and I was getting jealous.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this fucking bitch fucking doing things that are tough.
cool.
Yeah, I
Cool.
get angry at my
Happy to
friends.
be here.
can't do it.
I get angry at my friends achieving goals.
I literally did. I was getting jealous.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucked. Like someone's doing something hard and I want to do it.
Something real hard.
David Floggins over here.
Yeah.
Stay hard, motherfucker.
No, but like anyone can fucking run, man. You can't, like, you have
I
to
mean,
proper.
debatable. Have you seen me run?
No, I haven't. But it does appeal to me.
What do you
The
reckon
fear.
scarier? Rock free climbing or free diving?
Oh, fuck. Oh, man. That's a really good question.
Free climbing, because if things go wrong, you can become like paralyzed and quadriplegic.
So you live, but
I would rather completely
black out.
die
Completely die.
yeah.
or black out, and be fine.
Because there's no real safety climbers, are there?
Free climbing scares me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one
More.
mistake and you would feel it. Like I've fallen out of a
Yeah.
tree, how I initially fucked my back. I was putting a safety barrier on the treehouse and it was legit, like think of your roof as about 1.5 of these, wherever you are with your roof.
Yeah.
1.5. Ironically, I'm putting a safety barrier on, but I'm such a dumb fuck that I held the pine, I put it between the pegs and 2 branches. And instead of doing it from the platform that we built and pushing on it, I got my body on the other side of the safety line and hung my whole weight off the edge of the tree. And then the pine just slowly rolled back, lost my grip, and I fell fucking like 2 meters out of a tree, landed on a plank of wood in the middle of my back. And then I got knocked out. I woke up, my brother's like, he's fucking faking it. And he grabbed me and yanked me up. Back's fucked. I'm like, how do I fake falling out of a tree, you fucking dickhead?
Yeah, fuck.
But just
joking.
that minute, it all slowed down where it was like coming backwards and you see your hand slipping. If you're free climbing at a height and you see something skipping, oh, bro, all over.
I understand that fear of heights. I think that's the one. Those that would give you a fear of heights, would it?
Nah.
Do you think everyone has an innate fear of heights?
Nah.
You don't think it's inbuilt into us?
I have an innate fear of birds.
Do you?
That's from being up too high with the birds.
But no fear of heights.
They're above me.
No fear of heights.
Nah.
Ornithophobia.
Love it.
Fuck, I hate it. But so that's why I would be more
Go
scared.
bungee.
I'd rather do that.
Go bungee in Queenstown, bro. That shit is fucking the most terrifying thing I've ever done. But forcing yourself to jump off the platform is fucking exhilarating.
That seems to be the...
It's
I done skydiving. I love skydiving,
so
but skydiving's different. Like, skydiving doesn't look like there's a...
Yeah, there's no like...
Yeah.
Do you
it's
know
like
what
I'm jumping.
I think it is like freediving on my mind. Apnea brain. Skydiving, it's like a plane crash. Like, if you're in a plane crash, you're either dead or you're okay.
Yeah.
You know, bungee jumping, I feel like with that sort of whiplash, like you can injure yourself.
How do you go with like turbulence, severe
Love
turbulence?
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking weird.
Where it makes your belly go weird. Like,
I love that
fucking
feeling.
weird. No.
Everyone's like screaming, like, yeah.
I do the like I used to do this with Steph. So Steph was a bad flyer, so I would be the comfortable one. So I'd let her like fucking hold my arm and like give her the comfort. But secretly inside, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then the other day, all the flights over to Europe, I was just like, anytime there was like bad turbulence, which wasn't, I only had one, and I'd be like,
oh my gosh, it's so cool though.
like, there's not much, like the thing is,
I know now.
You can't do anything.
But that's the thing.
Like,
but also, I've seen what turbulence is now physically. Like they show, I've seen an animation of what's actually happening, and it's nothing.
You're just hitting a low pressure.
The plane is like, you think the plane's just going, it's not. It is not. It's like it's just going a little bit like it's fucking not moving at all. So So those planes that you see going through the sky and you're like looking at it like, and it's just flying like normal, and it could be in full turbulence. So that makes me a bit more comfortable knowing that, but. Still, I don't like it. It is the lack of control.
Yeah, but like because you don't have control, you just got to surrender to it and be like, well, fuck, if the plane's going down, dude, it's going down.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I've always thought like when they go, oh, if we're going to crash, you put your head down between your legs and brace. It's like, why? I think they want you to do that so you die immediately. So you snap your neck and you're dead.
I definitely wouldn't do that. I would definitely.
I've had that thought. I'm like, why do they make us?
How is that safe?
Yeah.
You get your head against the seat and just snapping your neck.
Ocean, I might do that for bracing.
Well, we'll get our safety.
Because I guess potentially that I'd in my head imagine that there'd be a better chance of survival.
I would have
but
thought.
if it was just straight into the ground, I'd be like hugging my loved ones or whoever I'm there with.
I'd be jerking off and all down. Fucking last one. Gotta
go
on
in. Of course you would.
Wet stuff.
You'd be grabbing titties.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't sexually assault on my way out. I've lived a good life and I'm not doing that just before going to heaven. So, but I'm like, I've always thought like, that's a snap neck. I would have just covered my face. But you're going 900 kilometers an hour. Nothing is going to help you. No matter how you brace. You're getting fucked, man.
Even if you fall into the ocean skydiving, you die. Hey? It's like hitting concrete.
Yeah. Even jumping off a really tall fucking cliff in all water. Anyway, fucking, what, if there's any...
Actually, didn't someone just land, like fall in with a parachute? He sort of got like half deployed and then like they were still falling at a pretty heavy pace, but they broke all their bones. They didn't die, but they were fucked up.
Yeah. Don't know.
But that was recent, I think.
I think we've covered everything. Is there any like myths or misconceptions about?
So many, but.
What's the top one?
Yeah, what's the biggest myth about freediving?
And if we've forgotten anything, we can get listeners to message us and we can ask you next time we come on for back specialty.
The biggest myth.
Or misconception or fear or like something that you were surprised that you thought it went one way and it was a different way?
I think visualization being a big thing. Like, because I don't have access to depth here, I spoke to people and I was like, what can I do here? Like yoga, Pilates, and visualization is so big. And I'm obviously like very into my science, so I looked up studies. I've done quite a bit when I was swimming and whatnot. But there was a study that was actually done, and it had 2 groups, and one, it was about building muscle mass, and there was one group that did the physical activity and one group that just did visualization, and I think it was for 3 months, and then the people that did the physical activity increased their body mass by, I think it was 30%. And the ones that did visualization and didn't touch exercise increased by 13.5%. So physically, it literally hits a certain part of the brain that activates muscle. Yeah.
This is the same with the piano experiment.
Yeah.
I heard that was debunked, where it was a golf swing or a piano where you visualize playing it.
Yeah.
And it builds the pattern. I heard it got debunked, but
it's an experiment that got done, and then the grey matter it changed exactly the same as the people who played it and who didn't play it. So
my theory
for
that one with the group that did activity and the one that didn't is they put on 13% because they fucking didn't exercise and ate food. Got fat.
No, of muscle mass. They can test that.
So we can visualize our way.
Yeah, it hits the same part of the brain. So that's why people do it so often, is like you literally like think, you close your eyes. If you spend, 30 minutes for 3 months doing that, the benefits, especially in freedive when you've got, the 80%.
So are you just visualizing like a crushing depth on your...
I just visualize everything. I visualize what I expected the competition to be like, my nerves, the smell of the ocean, like the feel, like the cold, the wet.
I want to visualize...
Is that Joe Dispenza style?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so the brain is so powerful.
Oh, it's so powerful.
But like
mind-body response all the time, and that's like that's what I loved. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is like when people are like, oh, you need to go and have the depth to compete. Like, no, if you can visualize, you can do stuff here. Yeah.
I get real frustrated because like I'll try visualize like fixing my back, and then I can't think just purely on that. Like I'm trying to get into my cells, into the fucking brain, into the neuron, like heal it all. So and then I'll be like, fucking puppy. Like what? Just
I get mad. That's meditation.
Yeah, I get so mad, but then I realize, it's just like playing footy. Yeah, you got to practice it. But then because I'm not good at it straight away, I'm like, fuck it, bullshit.
Yeah. It's funny, like I've found myself like that with meditation in general. And by the time, just as I was going to give up because I couldn't fix it, it's like it became easy. It just like it clicked one day. Everything became easy. And also understanding that your mind can wander, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. But I think you could visualize a few things. I don't know if you could visualize your back.
I visualize winning punts all the time and it comes in, bro. So I visualize winning player bets. That said, I think I'm done. I've done my depth. Do you need to keep,
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
It's been a good old chat.
If anyone wants to learn, where would they go?
Yeah, give us a plug.
In Perth.
Yeah.
I know of, technically I can teach.
Nice.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I teach you Branchy, that's all right.
Thank you.
There's Rusty Freedive.
Cool.
And there's Blueback Freedive.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.
Rusty as in Rusty, the brand?
It's a guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Blueback, Rusty. Cool. I got punished for that one. I'm going to leave that. And if you want to find out where they are, you just Google that. Rusty Freedive, Blueback Freedive. Cool. If this goes out, Oktoberfest, again, me and Macdonald will be on the main stage. Come check us out. And next week, I'm in Adelaide, so I'll let your Adelaide teacher friends know, or just friends know it's a fucking good show. I've done 80 tickets. I'd love to get that to about 150. Visualize. It's going to be 150 there. And then next week, when will we do our episode? If I'm gone, I'll do Monday or Thursday. When I go back.
Maybe both.
Okay.
Porque no los dos.
Okay. And then for you, Branch?
We got Up and Joke tour down in Bunbury, or Up and Douth.
Yep.
Down south, down in Bunbury. So for you guys, November 18th, that's in about 6 weeks. I got stand up down there, actually. Same venue, Froth Brewery. On the I should double check this one. I think it's the 28th. Something like that. It's in a couple of weekends' time down there. So if you're down in Bunbury, just look at that one. It's the next show down there. And then November 3rd at Wanneroo Comedy Shack.
Speaking of that, I'll be there as well on Friday. I forgot.
This Friday?
This Friday, yeah.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Tomorrow.
It's a good venue, hey. So. I fucking love that venue.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's sick. So I'll be there. So for all the Wanneroo folk that want to come down, it's November 3rd. I'm on. I don't know who else is on yet. Sorry. And any quizzes? Maybe I'll do some of Delby's quizzes soon. And
cool.
Yeah, listen to the pod.
All right.
Patreon. Join the Patreon.
Thanks, team. Thanks, Jade.
Thanks, Jade. That was lovely. Good job.